I'm Ryan Baker. Welcome to another edition of RBI here on FightingIllini.com. A new era of Illinois basketball is underway under the direction of new head basketball coach Brad Underwood. I sat down with Coach Underwood and he shared with me his plan to put the fight back in Illini basketball. For the first time ever on RBI, we're glad to have our new head men's basketball coach Brad Underwood here at the University of Illinois. Coach, so good to see you again. I know we caught up in Chicago a little over a month ago. You hit the ground running. Have you stopped to take a breath yet?
No, thanks for having me on. It's great to have you down here in Champaign. It's been a whirlwind. It's been very busy. The April recruiting calendar makes it such that it's very challenging. I have not spent a ton of time in Champaign dealing with the young men that we've signed, trying to get out and see them. And then the live periods, as we call them in recruiting, where you're out and you're actively recruiting, and not just for this class, but future classes as well. So we're slowing down a little bit. We've got another big evaluation period this weekend, and then May hits, and we'll catch our breath a little bit then. On top of that, you had to put your staff together. Of course, Jamal Walker will continue to stay on with the Illini basketball program, but tell us about the assistants you added in Orlando Antigua and Ronald Coleman, affectionately known as Chin. Yeah. Well, I'm so excited about this staff because not only are they great fits for the University of Illinois, they're tremendous people. They're guys that have a tremendous personality. They have all been successful in the coaching business, and you know, Orlando's a guy that has been at different places, Pittsburgh, Kentucky, head coach at South Florida, so he's got that experience.
Memphis,
absolutely, Memphis. And then, you know, Chin is a guy who's worked his way up, and I have tremendous admiration for him, and he's very good, and I love his, they're all great teachers. They're all very dialed in the recruiting game, and that's something that will be a benefit to all of us. But more importantly, they're good people, and they're about the same things I am. And Jamal I've known for a long time, so that was an easy fit. But we got a great staff, and that chemistry I see developing already.
And even some other guys you brought with you from a support staff role that come in, and that's all a part of building that culture, right?
Yeah, and they're good people. You know, Patrick Schulte is our video coordinator. I've known him since he was a college kid, and he was a manager with us when I was at Kansas State with Frank Martin. And then Joey Biggs, our director of basketball operations, spent 15 years at Oklahoma State and worked with Eddie Sutton, Sean Sutton, Travis, and myself, and bringing him along. He's so dialed in with the administrative side. And then you bring Stephen Gentry, a guy that's assistant to the head coach, and a tremendous basketball mind. I think he's a basketball savant almost in terms of his knowledge and understanding. So we've got a great staff, and it's exciting times as everybody gets to know each other, but the chemistry's been great.
And that's so important when you talk about building the program. Obviously, you're the head coach, the CEO, if you will, but the staff under you, that's all a part of what you need to have in place to translate to the players on the court and to build this thing the way you want it to, right?
Well, absolutely. And I think when you have a positive vibe in the office and you have really good people, that translates into the locker room.
And you got some experienced guys too that have done it.
Absolutely, and the kids see that, and you know, every one of those guys has been around pros. They've developed those young men. They've coached them. They know through past experience what it takes for those players to continue to develop and be able to move on, and you know, that experience is invaluable.
As for the players you inherited that were already a part of the program, walk me through the learning process of them getting to know you, you establishing that relationship with those players, and how you build it moving forward.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I enjoy the most. It's you start off the court and just through relationships and communicating and you know, finding out what they're a little bit about, finding out about their families, communicating with them that way, and then you take it to the basketball level and you find out what their goals are there, what they want to do, what they need to improve on, and it's always great to have open communication there. Then we get them on the court, and we've had this will be our last week. We've had 3 weeks of individual workouts, and we've kept them in small groups. So it's almost like one-on-one workouts, and that's been very positive. And we get an evaluation of their game as well as starting to implement what our foundation is and our culture is. And right now it's a lot of ball handling, a lot of passing, footwork, shooting, simple things that are fundamental, but they translate to wins in the fall.
I appreciate you letting me take a sneak peek at one of those workouts and just watching you observing, and then on the court and hands-on. It's pretty obvious you're at home in the gym. That's where you are at your best, hearing the sneakers and the sweat and the skid marks on the floor. And it's obvious your passion is there. That's where you love to be, on the court, teaching the game and coaching these kids up.
Well, I'd have the best job in the country if I didn't have to coach in games and could go to the court every day and practice, and then didn't have to recruit. They just showed up. But I love it's my classroom. And I enjoy that part of it. I enjoy the teaching. I enjoy watching young guys get better and seeing them take a weakness and make it a strength. And watching a game plan come together. I think that stuff is really a lot of fun. And I've never had a day when I dreaded going to the basketball court for practice. And I hope that passion, our players feel that, and that they get a sincere feeling that we're there trying to help them reach their goals. And it is truly a lot of fun to go do that every day.
An old school gym rat. Is tough love a fair trait to say that you have?
Yeah.
You have a problem with that?
No, I think it starts with communication. I think it starts with understanding that I think they all want to be pushed to see how good they can become. And, we ask them all the time what their goals are. And, whatever those may be, every now and then we got to remind them if they get off center from what they want to achieve. And it's not just letting them get away with stuff when we know that they're wrong. So we've got to bring them back and help them. And it's a culture of work. It's not anything but that. And good things happen to those who work hard, and our players will start to understand that. And we're here for them. And I think that's been a big key for our success, as we've made players better, and we've helped them achieve their dreams and their goals. And if we can continue to do that, it translates then on game day.
It is called men's basketball, not boys basketball.
That's exactly right.
And I kept hearing you barking out on the sideline in the gym, you got to get in the weight room. You got to finish that. You got to take the contact. It's about being strong, being physical. And you really stressed that that's important. I know Adam Fletcher's still here as the strength coach, but that was obvious. That's a point of emphasis. We're going to have to get stronger, and we're going to have to be able to finish this around the rim.
Well, and I think the game is such today where, it doesn't matter whether you look at a LeBron or you look at a Draymond Green or whoever. I mean, those guys are 6'7", 260 pounds, and the game has contact in it. And ultimately what Fletch does is help them become the best athlete they can be. And through nutrition and through all those things, we help develop them into pros. What does it take to be a pro? Well, being strong and being healthy and staying injury-free is all part of that process. So, there's a toughness you have to play the game and be successful, and that's a foundation we're starting to lay.
A lot of your fundamentals and philosophies of basketball sound simple, but they aren't really easy to execute, or a lot of teams would do it. Something as simple as making layups, free throws. I mean, these are things that are the fine line between winning and losing.
Well, at the high major level, games are close. Games are 1-2 possession games, and I think when you factor in that you have 8 to 9 missed layups a game, just cut down 3 or 4 of them, and that's the difference between winning and losing. They're called free throws for a reason. Right. And too many people don't practice them enough. We want to do that, and those are simple things that are very fundamental, very basic, yet they're the difference between winning and losing basketball games, and we're going to emphasize those things.
I spent some time with the new women's coach, Nancy Fay, earlier. Saw you chatting it up with her over at Ubben. You guys have a connection of coming in here together to rebuild programs and get them back on solid footing. But you look at her resume. Is there anything you can learn from her, from a 5-time national champion?
Every day. And it's like I told her, I said, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to come watch. And and I think that's one thing about the coaching fraternity is we all, we never stop learning. And you can learn so much from other coaches and see how maybe it's a little different than what you do it, but it can help your team, or it can help that team that you have at that time. So yeah, she's obviously figured it out, and 5 national championships, 700+ wins, and I'd be foolish for not trying to pick her brain a little bit.
Back to your current players you have, do you feel like in the brief time you've been here, they're receptive and buying into what you and the staff are trying to put across to them? Yeah,
they've been tremendous. I've been, we've got great young men, and I've been very pleased with their approach with from the weight room to their responsibilities in handling the academic side of things, their responsibilities in handling community service, and then the basketball side has been great. You know, I think one of the great challenges we have as coaches is to get young people to listen. And this group has been very attentive, and that's a process. It's not always easy, but you know, we're identifying weaknesses, and sometimes working on weaknesses isn't the easiest thing, but these guys have been great at it, and that's been very pleasing.
Well, I know you have so much ahead of you to get done. How much are you looking forward to getting settled into the summer? No more recruiting period, but then you'll blink, it'll be back to campus on the fall and ready for your first season. Are you already game planning, thinking about that stuff several months down the road? Yeah,
I don't think I ever get very far away from that. I think it's the schemes and the X's and O's never leave, and I enjoy this time of year when I get a chance to watch the NBA games, and you pick up different little things, and you jot them down at when you see them, and we've got our video people keeping all the games so we can go back and watch in the summertime. And I love taking them on the road with me in July recruiting, and watching Golden State versus Portland, and watching little different actions that may help. So I never get far from that. Getting settled is a process that I really look forward to. It's the hardest part of this is I miss my wife and girls. They're still back finishing up the school year, and they're tremendous because they understand what Dad has to do. But I look forward to getting us all here and putting stakes in and getting adjusted that way.
Well, I imagine that the campus community in Champaign-Urbana at large, Central Illinois, has embraced you since you've come to town and taken this job. What has that reception been like?
Oh, that's been incredible. The passion that the fans have showed, the alumni, the former players, I couldn't ask for anything better. That's been tremendous, and it doesn't matter where I've been, whether it's been in Chicago, whether it's been in St. Louis, whether it's been around here. My goodness, it's been awesome, and the excitement is something it's what I remember from my time here in the 90s, and that excites me.
Well, Coach, thanks a lot. All the best to you. Keep building this thing, and
thank you.
Come back and visit us on RBI.
We'll do that.
Coach Brad Underwood, your Fighting Illini head men's basketball coach.